on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi all, am I audible? Anshul and Imran. Hi Imran. Yes, good. Let's wait for another couple of minutes. Okay, we don't have one participant here. The one who was available, Monisha, right? She is not here. Let's wait for some 2 minutes. If she is not joining, let's go ahead. Okay. Okay. Let's start for the day, Imran and Anshul. Anshul, are you there? Imran, I hope you are there, right? Okay, cool. So today we will go for the next module, which is about communication things. Okay. So the topic is designing a communication strategy by using queues and service bus. So that's going to be for today's module. This will speak about different communication strategies, how you can implement it. Probably, let's say, connecting between devices, connecting between network environments, connecting the services. Okay, so those things. So the objective for today is that by the end of this module, you would be able to understand about Azure Storage Queue, okay, which is asynchronous processing. You will be adding queues, you will be adding messages on the queues, okay, and we'll also make sense about service bus that is not in storage but a communication strategy, okay, which we call it as service bus. That's one of another service that we have in Azure. So we will go with service bus offering, and we will speak about where you can use service bus, and we will also work about creating a service bus, relay, adding messages, topics, brokers, all these things, event hubs, and finally we will go for notification hubs. Okay, so those are the different sort of functions that we are going to work for today. Let's start with the Azure Storage. Okay, as you guys know, there's a service called Azure Storage which comes up with four components. That is your blobs, files, tables, and queues, right? And queue is where you're going to use it for, let's say, an image to be downloaded or anything like that. Okay, I'll make it in brief using a sticky notes. Yes. So here you should find it. Give me one sec. Yep. So we have something called Queues, okay, which comes up with storage, Azure Storage. So this queue is a cloud messaging application. Okay, this service is called a cloud messaging application, which can speak between the cloud components. Let's say between the application that's running on the cloud. Okay, so while you design the application for scaling, the application components are decoupled. That is, it's not tied up with each other. It's loosely coupled. Okay, so that it can scale independently. And now, when the queue storage delivers asynchronous messaging, okay, it can communicate with each other, and it can be there at either the other component could be at online or not. It can be there for 7 days of time or 6 days of time that you're going to give. Okay, and it can hold a data size which can be up to 64 kb in size. So let's say, for example, whenever an image is going to be uploaded on a storage, the image has to be compressed. The image has to be, let's say, it has to be resized, okay, for a better minimal size like that. So those sort of functions you can add it on Azure Queues. That's a messaging service. Okay, so there's something called web role and there's something called worker role, right? So you're going to add the message for worker role, not for the web role. Web role is a web server with IAS. Okay, this is not a web server with IAS. This is different. You will be adding actions. You will be adding messages, services for the worker role only. So this can be either on the cloud environment or it can be on the desktop. Okay, or it can be at the on-premise server. Anything, or let's even say it can be a mobile device, something like that, so it can communicate with anything. Okay, so this can support for managing your asynchronous task. It's not mandatory that both of the services should be at online or anything like that. Okay, so there we go for queue storage. So I will again repeat it. Queue storage is for sending messages. Okay, you can store large number of messages, and the main important thing is that you can access it using REST URL, which comes up with HTTP or HTTPS. So when you create a storage account, or yesterday you should have seen when we created a blob, it comes up with, for example, it comes up with imran.blob.co.windows.net, right? Here it will come up with, if I'm creating a queue storage called as Edureka, then it will come up as edureka.q.co.windows.net. Okay, so that's how your REST endpoint will come, and that will come up with HTTP or HTTPS REST URL. So you can pass messages from an Azure web role to a Azure worker role over here. Okay. Hi Imran. Is it more like IBM queues? It's actually IBM. It's same like IBM queues. Okay, this is a service which has come up with Azure. But here you have two things: a service bus queue, and the other one is the Azure storage queue. Service bus queue provides you a lot more functionalities. It works on the broker and relay functionalities, but here it's not like that. Okay, so that's the major difference. Now, the queue service, you need to understand basic components that you have in the queues. Okay, so let me say concepts that you have in the queue. So here, the very first thing is that you have something called URL format. Okay, the URL format is, as I said, it comes up with HTTP. It will come up as, let's say, for example, my account name is Edureka SGR. Okay, .q .core .windows .net slash the messaging. Let's say message one. So this is how your URL format will be. So your queue is going to be available. It will be inside your storage account. You're going to add the messages inside the storage account. Okay, and a queue can contain a list of messages. You can put up, let's say, set of messages. Okay, and a message can be in any format. It can be text or anything. Okay, and the maximum it can hold is up to 7 days. So after 7 days, if the other component is not going to be at online, then the message is going to be retrieved automatically. I mean, it's going to be deleted automatically. So there you can set the peak messages. Okay, peak messages is you're saying that this message has to be executed first as such. You know, queue, right? Queue works with which algorithm, which concept? Ibran, Anshul, queue goes up with which concept? Yes, first in, first out, right? So you can add 10 messages. It's going to work with first in, first out concept, but you can also set something called peak messages where you can say message 10 can, or message 8 can work for first priority. So that's where we go for peak messages. Are you clear? Any questions? Imran, any questions? Anshul? So for that, we do have filter. It's not filter, Imran. We call it as peak messages. I will write the scripts. You can follow it up. Okay. Same like yesterday. I will write the scripts also. I will give the document to you as well. You can follow the scripts. Okay. We will be writing peak messages. We will be adding let's say 3 messages or 4 messages like that, and we will set peak messages over there. Okay. Well, so I will now go for a demo where I'm going to create a storage account, same like yesterday, and I will add a queue there. Okay, I will add a message service on the same, and you can work on adding messages from your storage explorer. Okay, and the same using Visual Studio, and we will set up the peak messages, all these things. Is that okay? So this is going to be the demo what we are going to work for queue. Shall I move for the demo? Okay, so let's go for the storage account. I will go to my Azure portal. Let's sign in. Oops, I'm sorry. Sign in with a different account. Here we go. So I need to create a storage account as I told you. Let's go for create a resource. Let's go for storage, and here I will create a storage account. I'll create a new resource group. Let's name the resource group as Edureka Storage Resource Group. I will give the storage account name as Edureka Storage. It's going to be at Southeast Asia. It will be a V1 general purpose. Replication, let's select locally redundant storage, and I will click on review plus create and create it. Okay, so the validation gets passed, and here I will click on create to get it created. Meanwhile, I will also start my lab VM where I have my Visual Studio. Okay, now let's go to the resource, and here you can find we have queues. Is that okay? Now, as I told you earlier, I'm going to add a queue, the message service, all these things using Storage Explorer first, and then I will work from Visual Studio. Okay, so I will go to my lab VM, and from the lab VM, I will access the Storage Explorer. Okay, let's click on Save, and I will open it. Okay, so here we go. And I'll open the Storage Explorer. So here I can go for the local server. And okay, this is server manager. It's set off already. I'm waiting for the Storage Explorer. Okay, it's getting loaded. Okay, I would go for this. Let's click on apply. And in Visual Studio Enterprise, you should be able to see it. So we have Visual Studio Enterprise here. I'll go for this Edureka storage. And here, okay, let's wait. It's getting loaded yet. Yeah. Can you find this queues? So first, it's a Edureka storage which we created, and inside queues, I can right click here. I can create a queue. So I've named as storage, or I will say Edureka queue. And here I can add messages. So let's say add message. Okay. This is a demo message for Edureka training. So I'm adding this message. I can set the retention days. I said the maximum is 7 days, right? So you can click on OK and the message gets added. And as I told you earlier, it comes up with the individual URL. So what you can do is you can just click on view message. You can see the message here. Okay. So you have the ID for which you can connect for, and the URL you can get it. Wait, can you find this URL here? I told you, right? See, I will go for the sticky. I was speaking about the URL. Now you can just get synced up. See, this is the URL. HTTP, HTTPS, any of these things. Edureka storage, the name I gave. q.code.windows.net, and this is Edureka Q, the Q message which I created. Are you clear, guys? I hope you're getting synced up. Do we have to manually paste the message on the queues? Is there a way to programmatically put the messages? Yes, Imran, you can also programmatically add the messages from the applications. For example, I'll go with the console application now and I will let you know how we can add it. Okay. So that's what I said. We'll be working from Visual Studio as such. This is just a heads up that we are making sense from Storage Explorer. Don't worry, we will go with the programmatical one as well. So forget about this. This is from Storage Explorer. You can make sense. I'll give you time. I'll quickly go to the Visual Studio one as well. So let's open Visual Studio. And I'm also going to share this document with you guys, where this document speaks about adding the queues, all these things. Okay. Yes, if you have on-premise applications and we have VMs on Azure, still you can connect for it. So you get the REST endpoint URL, right? And you get the access keys. You need to call that on your config file. So consider if this is the application, okay, this is going to be the application which we are going to build. You need to call it on the config file. Same like yesterday, you were giving access keys, right? You have to follow the same step. So let's go for creating this console application. I'll say file, new, sorry, file, new, project. And let's give console application. I'll name this app as CodeSizzler Q. Okay. So let's click on OK to get it added. Right. Now here what's the first step? I need to go for adding the Nougat packages, right? So I'll just right click here. We will go for manage Nougat packages, browse, and I will add the Nougat package. So it's for Windows Azure Storage. Okay. So we need to add this. Let's click on install and we shall add this. Let's click on I accept. Yep. So this is installed. Now let's go ahead and we shall add the, I hope you guys remember the step, right? We need to add the access keys on the app config. Okay. So here we will be adding it. You have to say that this is going to have the app settings, right? And inside this, you need to give the key. So you will say add key. Probably I don't want to waste the time. I'll just do the copy paste. Let's remove this. I have the document with me. Okay. So let's copy this and I'll put it over here. And here I'm going to give the account name and the account key. Okay. So account name, I'll retrieve it from here. Let's go for the storage account which we created. It should be on the storage accounts. Edureka storage access keys, storage account name. Okay, so let's give it here. This is the account name and this is going to be the account key. I have given these things. Okay, now the next step is Monisha, you can add messages without adding this code, okay, but how it can access the storage account? It will result in error for you. If you're not giving these things, you cannot access the storage account. Without giving access keys or without giving SAS tokens, you cannot access the storage account. Okay. Monisha, I hope you're getting it. Can we give these in the programs? Which one you're saying about? Yes, you can. That's what I have given here, right? See here, account key. I have given it on the programmatic only. On app settings, I'm giving it. Oh, this is Anshul. Yeah, Anshul, it's similar to the blob. Yes. But the difference would be that we are adding messages here. Instead of adding data, here we are going to add messages. That's it. And we will set the peak messages as well. Is that okay? Folks, are you there connected? Okay, thanks, Anshul. Hey, Monisha. No, I'm asking if we can give in program.cs. No, in program.cs you cannot give it. You're saying about the connection strings, right? That even that you need to give it over here only. You have to mention it on the app config, not on the program.cs. Program.cs is like, see, program.cs will have only the retrieving the data, connecting towards the cloud. So only the DLL can be written there, not the connection strings all cannot be mentioned over there. Is that okay, Monisha? Right. Imran, you have any questions? Okay, cool then. So I would just go ahead now and I will add the reference. So let's right click and I will say add reference. My reference file is going to be system.configuration. So system.config. Yes, it's here. I will add this. So we have added this. Now I need to go for the program.cs file and I need to add the reference, right? So I need to add the namespaces for this. One is the system.configuration, which I need. So using system.configuration. And the next is for the using Microsoft.Windows Azure dot storage. And next is for the authentication using Microsoft, sorry, Windows Azure dot storage dot authentication. And next is for the queue. So using Microsoft dot Windows Azure dot storage dot queue. Okay, so let's give these things. And here I'm going to add the content to retrieve the connection. So what I need to do here is the first step, I have to represent the connection strings, right? So I'll just go here and I will say I need the cloud storage account, okay, which is going to be the storage account we are going to call storage account equal to, let's say, cloud storage account dot, we have to pass the value. So parse, and I will say configuration manager, okay, dot app settings, where we are going to call the connection strings. So let's call the connection string here. It's storage connection string, sorry, storage connection string, and then we shall close this. Okay, so a semicolon. So this is going to retrieve the storage account from the connection strings. Okay, let me represent it here so that you can understand. This is going to retrieve a storage account from connection strings or using connection strings. Okay. Now the next what I'm going to do is that I need to get the reference for the queue client. So this time it's cloud queue client. Okay, first I have received the storage account. Next is I need to receive the queue client. See, you have queue client. and then I will name this as queue client, okay, equal to storage. So I need storage account again. It's called storage account, okay. Dot. I'm going to create a new cloud queue client. So create cloud client and close the method. Okay. So this is going to get the reference to the queue client. So I will say reference to the queue client. Let me know if you are not able to follow, please. Okay. Next is I'm going to get the reference. So let's say reference. I need to get the reference for the queue object. I will give cloud queue equal to, let's name the cloud queue here, cloud queue equal to queue client. Okay, you can find here, see we have queue client here, dot, we have to get the queue reference, so get queue reference, and I'll name here, okay, the new queue which I'm going to add, I'll name it as storage queue. Let's close this with a semicolon, and I'm going to create this if that does not exist. So create if not exists. Okay, we have it here, create if not exists. So let's close this again. Are you able to follow? So once when I run this, it's going to create a storage. Okay, sorry, inside the storage, it's going to retrieve with the connection strings. It's going to create a queue called as storage queue. Is that okay, guys? Any questions? Okay, cool. So let me run this. Well, let's check the Azure portal. So in queues, you should find it. See, we have storage queue. And now inside the storage queue, we are going to add messages. Are you all clear until this? Okay, so next I'm going to add a message. Inside this, I will add a message. I'll say queue, okay, sorry, queue dot add message. And let's add the message. So new cloud queue message. And let's say the message, first message is hi, compress the files. Okay, so this is going to be message one, which we are going to add. Let's just represent as ash1, and I will close this. So this is going to be the message which we are adding. Okay, you can also add multiple messages. Let's say I could just copy this. I will go here. I will copy this and oops, I'm sorry. So this is message 2 and this is message 3. Okay, let's save this and I'll run this file. Okay, now you can even check it from here itself. Let's go for the storage explorer. Let's click on apply. and I will go for Visual Studio Enterprise, Edureka Storage, Queues, Storage Queue, and see, I compress the files. One, two, three. You have all the three things here. Can we add another C sharp object in the queue? Yes, you can also add another object, Anshul. That's not a problem. Okay, so now to set the peak messages, what you can do is that you need to add the system diagnostics, all those things. So better you can quickly go here. You need to add the reference. Okay, it's a system diagnostic thing. So using system dot diagnostics, I will add this and let's make these as command files. Okay, so I will comment all these files and here I will say I need to go up with cloud queue message. Cloud queue message, peaked message, okay, equal to queue dot peak message, right? And you're going to write debug the right line, peaked message, okay, with a asterisk. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's close this. Okay, so this has been added. So asterisk. So this has been added. Now you can run the project. You can just chat, you run the project, and you should find, see, high compress the file. This has been set as peak. Okay, file 1 is set as been peak and the program has been exited. And still you can just add an object directly. You don't need to add any interface over here. Okay, C sharp objects, you can add multiple objects over here and it can just be added. You no need to put up any interface over here. Probably we will be using the same for the WCF application, all those things. Okay, where we have multiple objects. Okay, are you clear until this? You have any questions? Uh, Imran, we are not going to consume the messages. Okay, if we need to consume the messages, we have to build an application and then we have to consume it. Okay, here I mean the 533 part or the Azure certification part is just to know how you can add the messages. What's the difference between the service bus and the normal queue that you have as such? Okay, if it is going to be consuming the messages, then you need to build an application. You have to call it using HTTP or HTTPS REST that you get it. Let me know if you have any other questions, please. Yes. Excuse me. Give me one sec. Yeah. Here we will get the concept of correlation will come into picture. Yes, we will come. You're asking about the comparison between the service bus and the queue, isn't it, Imran? Where can I get those samples? Samples, yeah, even I have it. Okay, I can share the sample application file with you, a solution file for you. Okay, so that I can do personally. The correlation, like comparing the service bus and the queues, that we will cover it probably once after covering this queue topic. I will go for service bus. Okay, after covering service bus, I will speak about the comparison between the service bus and the queue. Is that okay? Sure, Imran. Give me one sec. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Feroz. Imran here. I was working on stock server technology, and in which uh, we have like queues and like many applications post messages on those queues, and several different applications consume them. But to know like which message, I mean the one which came in, the one which should be picked up. I mean there has to be some correlation on which, depending on which. I mean I don't know how to pose the question, uh, but yeah.
Okay.
So
See, the bespoke service queue which works is what we call it as service bus queues over here. Okay, that is there you will be using the communication things, right? You will be using a broker, relay, all these things. That's on a bespoke service. Here, there's nothing as I mean, like you don't have something as broker or relay. You're just going to add up a message. You're going to give the retention days like 7 days or 6 days, something like that. The maximum is 7 days that we have. Queues simply can be used on, let's say, if you're going to call with a REST endpoint, right? If you're going to, in service bus, you cannot call it with a REST endpoint. Service bus accessibility is completely different. You need to use the TCP based protocol communication over there. Okay. And it can have more number of transactions. It can go up with broker and relay. It can check for the notifications and it can pass the messages. Okay. It can do the duplicate detection, all those things. But in queue, you cannot use those things. Queue is simply like, let's say if you have a mobile app or something like that, then you can use queue. Okay. Probably to compress the message and send it on a push notification. In those cases, you can use queue. Are you clear? Imran, are you there? Yep. Okay, fine. Thanks, Imran. Well, just make sense about these things. Okay. Try creating queue. Try adding message at least using the storage explorer and let me know if you have any questions. If not, we can go for the next. Imran, can these messages be in any format? Yes, this message can be on any format, Imran. It can be on JSON, XAML, okay, anything, and it gets decoded. And the size limit is 64 KB. Okay, the size limit is 64 KB. Uh, no, both XML and XAML will work here. Even XAML works. Okay, uh, and size limit 64 KB. I thought of saying one more thing. Yeah, the duration is 7. Okay, 7 days at the max. Imran, if you're having a bigger size XML files or anything like that, then you'd have to go for service bus. This is not going to work for you. This is for limited sort of small messages. Okay. Yes, for bigger messages, you need to go for service bus. Excuse me, give me one sec. I'll just take my get some water. Okay, give me some 2 minutes, please. Imran, yes, I'm here. Shall we go for the next topic? Yep, thanks. Thanks for the update. Thanks, Anshul. Uh, so here, yep, my slides are here. See, they have given few things about a VPN here. Okay, but to be frank, I have no idea why they are speaking about VPN here. Okay, still, it would be helpful for you guys, so I will cover VPN. This is all we covered it. Okay, so I will go with VPN. Probably you can find it on the slide number 40, something like that. Yes, here we go. Designing and implementing a queue strategy. Okay, they have something about VPN. VPN is a virtual private network. Okay, in your let's consider it might be your on-premise environment or it might be your cloud environment. You're going to design something called a network, right? You have a network where you're going to say the address range, and inside your network you'll be having subnets, right? You're going to create the sub allocation. You'll say that from one particular address range to another particular sort of address range, probably it would be like one subnet, and for other sub allocation, you'll be having another subnet like that. I could simply say, for an example of your front end application or the back end, let's say a database application like that. You can also set up network security groups at top of it, where you'll be adding the inbound rules, the outbound rules. Okay, probably you call it as the incoming connections or the outgoing connections for the server as such. So all these things can be configured using something called virtual network. And there's something called virtual private network, where the virtual private network will help you to have a dedicated network connection between the Azure virtual network and the on-premise network that you have. Okay, so here in this figure, you can see that you have a on-premise network. The on-premise network has their own data centers. They have their own network environment, and they are connected with the Azure environment as well. So connecting both of these things can be done by using a VPN gateway. Okay, and this VPN gateway is where you have a couple of things as site-to-site VPN, and you have something called point-to-site VPN as such. Okay, so I will make it simple. Here you're going to use point-to-site. Okay, the purpose of the VPN here is that you're extending the application. You need to connect with the on-premise application. Let's consider Swiggy, right? You have Swiggy, or you consider Zomato, Foodpanda, Amazon, all these guys. They have an application. You go to the application, you go up to the menu, you order a product, you select a product, you add it towards the cart. Once after you go to the cart, you're going for the payment options, right? You have a payment gateway. The banking sectors are not on the cloud. They have their own data center where they manage the things, or it might be PayPal, it might be Paytm, whatever it is. The payment gateway is going to be managed at the on-premise environment, which is a different network, right? So until the menu, until adding towards the cart, it's all going to be at Amazon. Either it's going to run at AWS or it's going to be at Azure. Okay. And when you go for the payment option, it's going to be on a different environment. So there you go for something called virtual private network. The virtual private network will help you to get connected. It sends the encrypted traffic, okay, across a public connection towards the on-premise location. That is, the payment gateway is going to be at on-premise location, and you can establish the network connectivity. Okay, so there we go for this virtual private network. Now, in this virtual private network, you have first we will create a virtual network. Okay, and there you can give the address ranges. Inside your virtual network, you will give the address range, and once after adding the address range, you will also give subnets. You have multiple subnets. You can say subnet 1, subnet 2, a front end tier, a back end tier, something like that. And then you will use something called VPN gateway. If you have an on-premise environment, you can connect it with VPN gateway. I don't have any on-premise, so I would not be able to show it, but I will help you to make sense how you can create a VPN gateway. Okay, so you have three sort of things, sorry, four sort of things. One is a basic. So basic, you will be having VPN generation 1. Okay, and you will be having generation 2 and generation 3 like that. So this speaks about the tunnel. Usually you have something called IPsec tunnel. Using IPsec tunnel, you will establish the connectivity. This distributes how many tunnel you can establish as such. So basic can have maximum of 10 tunnel, and these things can have up to 30 tunnels. Okay, And the connections for point to site in basic is you can use up to 128. Okay, that's maximum that what we have, but the throughput differs ideally for each and everything. Basic will come up with 100 mbps. Okay, the speed that you can connect with. And the this one generation one will gateway one will come up with 500 mbps if I'm not wrong. Okay, and this comes up with 1 GB speed. Okay, and this comes up with 1.25 GB. So that's where we go up with. Okay, are you clear till this, folks? I hope we are connected. Okay, cool. So now I will go with a demo where I'm going to create a virtual network. Okay, let's say a VNet. And after creating VNet, I will create a VPN gateway as well. And here in the VNet, I will say that I will add address range. Okay, and I will put up subnets also inside this. So let's go to the demo now. I'll go for the Azure portal. This is my Azure portal, what you can see here. And I will go for create a resource. Let's go for networking. And here I have the virtual network. So let's create a VNet here. I'm going to name the VNet here. So let's say new Edureka VNet. Okay. And the address range, you need to know about the address spaces. I will give 10.1.0.0/25, which is subnet mask. And subnet name, I will say, okay, resource group, right? So resource group, let's put up a new resource group. Probably, or I will use the existing resource group even. You should find it here. I'll use Edureka storage resource group. Okay. And this one, the name, I'll say it's front-end web apps. Front-end web apps. And the address range, I will say it is going to be 10.1.0.0/27. Okay, so this is my address range, and I will click on create to get it created. So this creates a subnet with 32 address. You can click here and you can see the notification. Okay, let's go to the resource, and there we can add the subnets. So I would go for, see, this is VNet, right? You can go for subnet here, and you can add multiple subnets here. Let's say another subnet with a same 32 address. So I've named as backend web apps, and let's give the address 1.0/32/27. Okay, see, 27 plus 5 address reserved. So it's 32 address in total. You can click on OK to get it added up. So we have created two subnets here, and you can also create a subnet, gateway subnet. So you can create a gateway subnet by clicking here. It takes the address by default. Okay, let's say 27, and I will click on OK, where it creates a gateway subnet with the same 32 address to which the on-premise gateway can be connected. Now you need to call this on the virtual network gateway. So what you need to do is you have to go for create a resource. You can go for networking, and you need to call the virtual network gateway. So let's call this virtual network gateway. Here you have different sort of things. Okay. So first you have name. I can give the name as Edureka Test Gateway. Okay. Gateway type. This is the type of VPN. Okay. The gateway that you're going to use. Either you can use VPN, or if you need the more in speed. I was speaking about speed here, right? See, 1 Gbps, all these things. If you need more speed, then you can go for express route. VPN type is you have a couple of things as route based and policy based. So this is like the type of VPN you choose that depends on the make and the model of your VPN device, and this also depends on the kind of the VPN connection that you're going to create. Okay, so it might be point to site, it might be inter virtual network, or it can be multi site to site VPN connections. You need to check whether it supports with a route based virtual network gateway or for a policy based gateway like that. So let's say it's going to be a route based, and this goes with the SKU. The one which I was speaking about depends upon the speed, right? Basic, gateway one, gateway two, okay, all these different sort of things. So let's say I will select gateway one, okay, and you can scroll down. You're going to give a public IP address. You can name a new public IP here. So let's give the public IP as Edureka test pipe, okay, public IP. You can scroll down and you can click on create. Oh, I'm sorry, I have not created selected the VNet. This is my VNet, new Edureka VNet. Let's click on create to get it created. So that's how you put up your virtual network gateway. Is that okay? Any questions? So using this virtual network gateway, you can connect with the on-premise network. Now the cloud environment is connected. If you have your on-premise, you can call it from the on-premise environment as well. Are you clear, guys? Cool. Imran, Anshul, any questions? Well, that sounds good. Okay, go ahead, make sense about these things, and then we can go for the service bus messaging. Shall we go for the next? Okay, thank you. Cool. So the next is about the service bus messaging. Okay, I will show you here. This is all what we went through. Yes, Azure Service Bus Messaging. Okay, so the Service Bus Messaging is, I will make it simple for you, don't get confused. Okay, Azure Service Bus is what you use it on the BizTalk service, all these things. Okay, and it's a cloud-based messaging system for connecting applications, services, okay, devices, or it can be any component, okay, where it exists. It might be even at on-premise. So you can use a service bus where you can connect the apps which are running with Azure or which can run with on-premise. So you can connect both of them. You can also connect household appliances. For example, let's say IoT device using a light or something. Okay, a sensor using a mobile phone. Okay, so you can build application and you can connect with it. So what you will be doing here is that you will be doing the communication strategy using queues, topics. Okay, you have different things. I'll make a note here. So messaging services comes up here. I mean, service bus comes up with queues. Okay, so this will be with your topics. Okay, queues, relay, broker. Okay, and event tabs. So you'll be using all these things. So where to use Azure Queue and where to use Service Bus is like the main reason for using Queue is to provide a loose connectivity, okay, within the components. For example, consider you have two components and you need to exchange the data within an application. So there, one might be at on-premise and one might be at the cloud, and you need to exchange a small sort of data which is within 64 KB. It might be any sort of data. In those cases, you can use the Azure queues. Okay, whereas the service bus queue is where it comes up with charge. Okay, where it can store the data. Either the component is going to be at online or offline. The broker can hold the data for a certain period of time, and it can deliver the message. You no need to wait for anything. It has a brokered messaging system. So using FIFO, you can just put up the messages, and the receiver can receive the message. So each message is received and processed by only one message receiver over here. So you'll be having a broker, and using a broker, you can put up the messages between them. The cost based difference, I will also make it over here. Okay, let's speak about the cost base between both the things. So that is the storage queue charge is like it costs you 0.05, let's say, dollars for 10,000 transactions, whereas service bus queue is more cheaper. It costs you 0. I will just make it like this. See, you can check 0.005 USD will be for 10,000 instructions. You can check it on the pricing calculator. You can go here. You have the pricing calculator. I hope you guys know that, right? So you have more. You you have pricing, right? Here you can check it. So this is like for 10,000 instruction, it's like 0.005, whereas it will be 0.05 for millions of instructions, okay, on your Azure service bus. And the storage cost here is the storage cost will be separate for your queues that you're going to use. I'm speaking about service bus queue, okay? But for a for a storage queue, but for a service bus queue, there will be no storage cost at all, and transaction cost will be available for both the things. Okay, latency will be 10 ms, okay, which will be an average latency for storage queues. So I will mention latency will be 10 ms for storage queues, whereas for a service bus queue it will be 20 to 25 ms. Okay, so that's for normal one. Messaging size, storage queue will have only 64 KB. Okay, whereas this can hold up to 256 KB, or it can hold even more. Okay, and TTL will be 7 days, as I told you earlier. In your storage, there's in your service bus, there's no TTL. Okay, it's like it's going to wait until the message is going to be delivered on the broker part. Okay, you can manually remove it. Are you clear, guys? I hope you can make sense between the both the things. Cool. So let's go to the demo for the service bus. Okay. So for the service bus, as I told you, you have queues, topics, and you have the relays. So let's first create a service bus. I'll go to the Azure portal and I'll create a service bus for you. Let's go to the Azure portal. I'll click on create a resource. Yes, Imran, it also has the metadata content. You can add it on the header context. Both of them have it. Yes, it's there. Metadata gives the information about the messaging service that you had it up, right? Both of them have that. Let's go here. I will search for service bus. So let's select service bus and I will click on create to get it created. So here you would be having three sort of pricing tiers: basic, standard, premium, like that. That depends upon the message size. Either you're going to use queues, topics, how many message operations you're going to perform. Okay, so you can filter it over here. See, you have basic, standard, premium. So recommended is a premium one, but we are not going to use it at huge. So let's go with a standard one. I'll say Edureka. Okay, it should be a unique name. I'll select standard as my plan. And so for pricing details, you can find it here. You have blades. See, I told you, right? Messaging operations. So let's go for this. And resource group, I'll put it on the storage resource group. Location, probably I'll say South India. Okay. And let's click on create to get it created. So once after the service bus gets created, you can add queues inside this. Okay. You can also add it programmatically, but here I will go from the Azure portal. Let's wait until it gets deployed. Yeah, there's some question. Can we add the messages to topics using Visual Studio? Yes, Monisha, that's what I said. Programmatically, you can do it. Yes. It's same like how you did for the normal one. Okay. For the service bus, sorry, for the Azure storage, we were doing it, no? Same like that. Yeah. Okay, it has been created. Let's go ahead and I will check this. Deployment is succeeded. Okay. So this is the service bus which we created, and you can add queues by going for queues. You can find the entities here and you have queues. So go for queues and there you can add a queue. Click on queue and here you can give the service queue something like that. Let's say test service queue. I will add this. Okay, messaging size, the maximum of the size for the query, I mean the queue varies from 1 to 5 GB at the max. Okay, you can put it over here. And the time to live can be a max that you can take. I'm getting an exception. Monisha, take a screenshot and let us know, okay, so that we can help it out. So the days I can set the max is that you have 14 days by default. Okay, you can even change it if you need. And lock duration, you can lock it without deleting it. All those things. That's you can set it over by minutes or seconds like that. Let's say I will put it for 2 seconds or 2 minutes. Okay, and you can enable the partitioning if you need. You can check only the enable partition box for the demo. What we are going to do. Let's click on create and get it created. So this queue gets added and you can find the service queue here. And by default, there will be something called root managed SaaS token that you can find it on the SaaS shared access policy. Okay, it is same like what we were discussing on the storage. When you click on this, you can find you can manage, you can send the data, you can listen for the data. Okay, so you can check all the three permissions to the queue, and you can copy the access key or the connection strings from here. You have primary connection string and the secondary one. You can also regenerate the keys by clicking on this more, and you can regenerate. Okay, you can change it at any time. Are you clear? Just go ahead, make sense till this. Okay, creating a service bus and creating queue. Okay, and then we can continue from Visual Studio. We can make sense about how we can call these things. Okay, yeah. Well, guys, meanwhile, let's do one thing. Let's take a break for some 15 minutes. Okay, and we shall join by 15 minutes. Is that okay? Hey, team, are you there? When I sorry, Imran, are you seeing any hands-on demo on working with the message context? Yes, Imran, I'm going to show you how you can add message. Okay, using I mean the NuGet package, all these things I will show you. Okay, what NuGet package you should add, where you can call the connection strings. But adding the message is same like queue. I don't want to waste time on again adding the messages. Okay, I'll give you the solution file. Yeah, you should have seen on YouTube. I have given the link. Same like that, I have given the solution file that should help you out when you do the hands-on. Okay, is that okay, Imran? Are you there? Well, cool then. Fine. So let's connect by another 15 minutes. Okay, as per IST, it is 9:50 now. I'll connect by 10:05. Okay. Hi all. Hi Monisha. The exception is a connection attempt failed because the connected party did not proper. Is the connected party endpoint has been configured properly, Monisha? Hey folks, are you there? Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead with the topic then, right? So this service bus we are going to work. I'll just show you how where you can give the connection strings, all those things. Okay, on the programmatic pane. So let's go for Visual Studio, and I'll create a new project. And this time I'll name this as Edureka Service Queue. Okay. So here, once after I create the project, now this time what I need to do is I need to add the Nougat package, which is for Windows Azure dot service bus. Okay, not storage, service bus. So you can search for Windows Azure dot service bus. You have it here. You can install this. Okay. Now you can go for the program file, and here you can add the namespace reference. So using, it's going to be Microsoft dot service bus, okay, dot messaging. I'm just giving you a heads up. This is the reference file which you will be adding, okay, for the namespace. And the other part that you will be using is you need to give the connection strings, right? You can copy the connection string from here. You have a primary connection string, you can copy this, and here you need to give that. So you will say where connection string. Yes, someone is raising the hands. You can write your questions, please. Connection string equal to, okay. So here I'm going to paste it. That's one sort of thing. And next, you can give your queue, okay, queue name equal to, you can say what's your queue name which you have represented over here, there. So that's what you're going to represent here. Okay. So the namespace, as I told you earlier, it's going to be Microsoft dot service bus. Sorry, service bus dot messaging. Okay. So this is what we'll be giving. I'll give you a solution file where you can make sense. Okay, where you can add it up across over there. So Monisha, your error I was asking about, right? Have you made the endpoint for the, I mean, the on-premise connectivity configured properly? If see this error says the same, it says that the connected party did not respond. It's a connection failure on that. Let's do one thing, Monisha. Take a screenshot and send me your solution file as well. Upload it on OneDrive or something and send me the solution file. I'll check that. Okay. In worst case, we can even connect with TeamViewer and we can sort it out. Okay. Cool. Now, once after you add this messages, you can go here. Okay. You can see you have this overview and you can find the messages here. Okay. If the queue has been added. You can otherwise you can also add the queues here. Okay, you can find the messages. So when you click on any of the messages, let's say this service queue, and inside that you can find the number of active messages that you have. Okay, the maximum size that you have, how much it has been added up, scheduled, the count that you have. Okay, so those things you can monitor from here. Are you clear, guys? The next comes topic here. Topic, you can find it here. See, when you go for, probably I would go here, and in topics you can add the topic. So you can say add a topic. You can say Edureka test service topic, right? It can be up to 1 GB, and you can leave the settings with the default values, which has 14 days, and you can click on create to get it created. And next you can also create subscriptions. So you should be having it here. Let's wait. We should wait until it gets created. Yep, it's created. So you can go for topics, and inside topics you can find subscription. Here you can add the subscription. So you need to give a unique name for this. Let's say Edureka subscription. I'm not sure whether it's available. Yep, it's there. And the TTL for that, the lock duration that you're going to set. Okay, probably like 2 minutes or 3 seconds or 30 seconds, something like that. Okay, 2 minutes. And the delivery count for expiry. Okay, so you can set it over here. You can enable the session, click on create, and you can create it here. So once after it gets created, you can find it over here. Okay, and again programmatically you can send the messages, and once after you send the message, you can call the subscription. You can find the current data which will be increased. Okay, you can receive message from the subscription as well. So that's where we will be using this service bus. And you also have an option called as relay. Okay, so it holds on the integration part. So relay is something called Azure Relay, which is used for hybrid cloud. Okay, that is with your on-premise connectivity. The advantages of Azure Relay is like it helps you to connect securely. You don't need VPN. You can connect securely with the on-premise environment as well. You can keep your data wherever you want. You can have the network load balancing. Okay. You can have flexible communications options, which will be like one-way and duplex communication as well. You can secure no firewall changes. Okay. You don't need to change any sort of firewall stuff. You can keep it secured without configuring firewall, and you can also leverage the on-premise services. So those things you can do with integration service. Okay, so what you need to do for that is you have to go for create a resource, or go for yes, create a resource. In integration you should find relay here. Go for service bus. If not, wait, let me see if it's here. Let me search. It's named as Azure Relay. Yeah, here you have. Okay, you can go for relay. So I told you, right, you can securely connect without using VPN. You don't have any firewall changes to be done. You can leverage with the on-premise services. Okay, so you can click on create to get it created. And let's name this. So I will say Edu Relay for this. Okay, and we shall put it on the same resource group location. Let's click on create to get it created. So using this, you can connect. Okay, let's get it created, and then I will make sense for you. Well, so let's go for the schedule relay. Let's go here. And here you can establish the connection with a hybrid. Okay, you can say hybrid connection. You need to give the name and the value where you have it. Okay, so it's nothing about VPN. And for calling it programmatically, you can go for shared access policies. And from here, you can add a policy, you can call it. You have the keys here. I hope you're getting synced. It's same like service bus. Okay, it's one of a component that you have. Are you able to follow, guys? Imran, Monisha, and Anshul, are you all there? Okay, fine. That sounds good. The next topic that we have for today is about event hubs. Okay, there's something called event hubs. See here, I was speaking about, right? So you have something called event hubs. Event hub is to process instructions. Okay, it's to process events. So you can process even millions of events per second. So that's why we use Event Hub. You can stream it for multiple applications. You can stream it for multiple instructions. I mean, millions of instructions. And this lets you to process and analyze the large number of data that will be produced by your devices. Let's say your IoT device, okay, by anything. So you can just keep it monitored and you can send the data to the Event Hub. It can be transformed. It can be used for analytics. It can connect with Power BI. You can use it for forecasting. Okay, you can say that what's going to be the predictable performance for the next 5 days. Let's say there's going to be a IoT device. You have a auto light sensor at your home, right? You can keep a forecasting of what could be the consumption for the next 1 month of time or next 2 months of time, like that all. And when the ability it also provides the ability where you can come with a ramp, okay, with a massive scale. So for all those things you can use event hubs. So event hubs, I will make it short. The characteristics what you have for event hubs is you can process events, you can process logs, okay, where you can process up to millions of logs and events per second. That's why we go for event hub. Okay, you can connect number of devices. Normally we use it for IoT. I use it for IoT scenarios. Okay, and you can get it on time-based buffering. Okay, you can schedule the process. You can get connected with the native client libraries. It supports for C Sharp as well. Okay, and it can connect with other tools like Power BI all to get analytics. Okay, you can do data analytics using this. So that's why we go for event hub. So let's go for event hub on the Azure portal. Any questions about Azure event hub? Any questions, guys? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead. I will go for this Azure portal and let's go for Azure and I'll create a resource. Let's go for event hubs. I should search for it. Okay, I will search events. Let's click on event hubs here and I'll click on create to get it created. So here you can name it as Edureka event hubs. Pricing tier, you can select any of these things, either basic or the standard. Okay, this depends on the brokered communications what you have, the number of brokered communications that you're going to do, how many events you're going to ingress for a second. Okay, how many millions of instructions you're going to ingress, and the message retention that you're going to have. So based on these things, you can perform it. I'll just go for a basic one here. It charges a lot. Okay, and it also connects with machine learning and big data stored things like Hadoop, Kafka. Okay, for those things. If you need, you can enable it, but that's again uh, like it's like a highly costable one. Okay, so you no need to configure those things. Please show us real-time usage if possible. Anshul, are you asking for event hubs? You want me to perform right now and show it? See, event hubs is like for analytics. You can use it on data warehousing all. Okay, you need to build an application and you have to go for it. Here, it is not about like consulting, or it's not specifically towards a topic. It's like a certification track what we are going here. Okay, but I'm not going to put this topic down. Whatever you're going to ask, okay, the request that you're going to post it, just send me a mail. I can give you the documents which speaks about event hubs. Okay, I will give you the applications which I have built for event hubs. You can run it and you can explore, and then if you have any questions you can post it to me. This is like a cup of plate what we have in the certification track. That's it. Okay, this is not going to speak in detail. Is that okay, Anshul? See, I can even show you on the slides. It's like around the slides of 120 something. See, we were working on Azure Relay. You just create a relay. That's it. And event hubs, you can find it here. We just create an Azure event hub. That's it. In your exams, they will be asking about where you can create a event hub, what are the different sort of throughput units that you can configure, how you can consume it. That's it. Are you clear, Anshul? Okay. So just drop me a mail. Okay. Whatever may be the topic, it might be IoT, okay, or anything as such. Just drop me a message. I'm using this for IoT application, so I can just share that to you. Okay. Have you heard about this Databricks, all these things, Azure Databricks and Azure Data Warehousing? So there only we use Event Hub. I mean, I'm using Event Hub only. Okay, over there. So if you're writing me a mail, I will share the data, I will share the application and everything, which is based upon the data warehousing and IoT stuffs. Okay. Yes, I will share the Event Hub code as well. Monisha, I saw your mail. I need to build a solution file for that and I can respond for that. Okay, just give me some time. I saw your mail. I'll revert back to you. Okay. Or if you need just a theoretical explanation, I can also write it immediately. I will do it probably by tonight. Okay. Hi, Mactor. Yes, drop me a mail, Mactor. That should help me out. Okay. Whatever may be your requirements, please drop me a mail. That should help you out. So let me go here. I have created this namespace. Okay, this is all fine. And you have the throughputs as well. You can find it here. We have throughput units. I'll put it on the storage resource group. And this is the throughput. You can maximize it. So it depends as per your requirement what you have. Okay. And you can inflate it as well. So this, as you increase it, it's going to cost you. Okay, just make sense about that. So let's click on create and you can create the event tabs. Okay. So here let's go for the event tab. And see here you can find the messages, all these things. So inside this you can add the event tab instruction and you can give the partition count. You need to build it as well. Okay. So for accessing it is same. You grab the SAS policy, get access from the connection strings what you have here. And you can scale it up. You have scale, you can scale with different plans. Okay, you can increase the throughput units. You can make sense over here. Is that okay, guys? So I hope you can understand why we are using event hubs, isn't it? Okay. So event hubs is for processing millions of instructions, which would be from any sort of IoT devices and to connect with any data analytics tools like that. Okay. But we also have something called notification hubs. See here in the slides, we have it. I can go for the next slide. So you have this notification hubs. So the notification app is to send. I hope you guys know push notification, right? Have you heard about it? Yeah, and sure. See, I will tell you simply. Okay, event hubs is consider you have a IoT devices. IoT devices are connected to each other, right? Let's say you have a sensor in front of your home. When you come, it has to open. It has to recognize your face. It has to open the door. And when you get into the hall of your home, it should switch on the lights automatically. Okay, so it has to process the instructions, isn't it? Each and every instruction has to be processed for multiple devices, and these instructions has to be stored on a storage as well. It has to process, it has to store. Okay, as it stores, it collects number of data and it has to process some analytics on picture. Okay, in those cases you will be using event hubs. Consider the auto driving cars. Each and every auto driving cars will send millions of instructions, right? Say let's say that the road A has a traffic, it has an accident. You want to navigate the other devices not to get inside this path or anything like that. So each and every car can process millions of instructions. Okay. So processing those instructions, for those things you need the throughputs. Okay, you should have a good throughput units. And so in those cases you will be using event hubs. Are you clear what I'm saying? Anshul? Anshul, go ahead if you have any questions, please. Yes, Anshul, of course it has an endpoint. I showed you, right? To connect with it, it has a endpoint. See, you go to this event hubs, isn't it? You can have connection strings. Using this connection strings, you can add it and you can connect with it. Or the other way is that you have the SaaS policy. You go here using this connection strings, you're going to connect for it. Are you asking about the REST endpoint? In case if your question is about the REST endpoint, then there's no REST endpoint for this. You will not have any REST endpoint for this. Is that okay, Anshul? Any other questions? Cool. That sounds good. Okay. The next which I was speaking about is thanks, Monisha. Thanks for responding. Uh, where is Imran? He's not there for a long time. Imran, are you there? Okay. Are you clear, Imran? Are you able to follow? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. So the next topic is the final topic that we have for today. That is notification apps. Okay. So the notification apps is where it is used to send push notifications. Push notification is nothing but the pop that you get right in your mobiles. You can find when someone sends a WhatsApp message or anything, you get a pop up right at the top. That's a push notification service. So Azure notification apps comes up with sending a push notification service, okay, which can be for any devices. It can be for consumer scenarios. It can be for, consider Flipkart is to send a Diwali offer on the mobile app for all of you. In those cases, you can use it. Okay, Mintra, Flipkart, all these things. So they have event related notifications. They can send location based notifications. They can send breaking news notifications. Okay, in those cases, we will be using this notification apps. So the notification apps in common, it's an app where the user communication can get the pop-up or the dialog box at the top. So in those cases, you will be using notifications, okay, the push notifications. Now, the push notification will be using something called as PNS, that is Platform Notification Systems. Okay, so the Platform Notification System will say what sort of platform it is. Let's say it's going to be an iOS, it's going to be a WCF, it's going to be WPF, or a web application. It's a Java-oriented web application, anything like that. So it can be a backend contact where it can send the notification for any sort of devices. Okay, so the challenges that normally as a developer you guys would be facing is on the push notifications, that it's platform dependency, right? You need to check what sort of platform it is. Either it's developed using Java, or it is developed using let's say for example HTML5, something like that. So you need to check before you're sending the notification. You have to scale it up. Okay, you have to put up the device tokens for each and everything. You have to do the routing. Okay, the groups who are interested, few guys would be like they are not interested on sending the push notification. They would have unsubscribed themselves, isn't it? So there you can remove the notification, which will be a cost maintenance for you. So there all you will be using notifications. Okay, so here you can just go, you can search for notification apps. You can say notification app. See, as I told you, you can use with any backend, .NET, Java, PHP, Python. Okay, it can be used for any iOS major applications as well. So you can click on create and you can create a notification app here. So let's give the notification app name here, Edureka, and I'll give a namespace again, Edureka should be available. Oh, sorry, Edureka NS, and I'll put it at Central India. Resource group will be Edureka Storage Resource Group. Pricing, you can find it here. It is based on the cross-platform push notification or the limited telemetrics that you're going to use. Okay, let's use a selected free one, and I will click on create. Right. So there we go. Let's go to the resource. Right. Here you can find the active device which has been registered. Okay, you can test it by sending it. And here you can find, see, it supports for all cross platforms. So Google is nothing but you should have seen in Google Chrome you will be receiving notifications, isn't it? From Redbus, all those things. Probably I can show you here if I have. No, I don't have anything. So you can find it over there. Okay, so that's like it says where you can get the notification as such. So for all cross platforms, you can create it. So let's go for Google. You can call the API key. Where you can get the API key, you need to go for GCP. Okay, in GCP, you will be having, you should create a project. Okay, and the project number, you'll be having the APIs, right? You need to call that. Simply, I will show you. I don't think my GCP account is active. I'll just show you. Wait, console.gcp.com. Yeah, here we go. Console.cloud.google.com. Let's sign in here. So here in the search, you can find for cloud messaging. Not the Firebase one, Google Cloud Messaging. See, can you find this? We have Google Cloud Messaging. Yes, you can enable this and you will get the API library. Okay, so from there you can call it over here. Give me one sec. Yes, here you can call it over here. Okay, so that's how you're going to send notification, and then you have to configure it on the web application that you're going to develop. So this is where we will be using notification apps. Is that okay? The other sort of notifications that you can configure just for the mobile platform is that will not work for Google Chrome or that we call it as mobile apps. You can create easy tables, you can add data, you can send push notification using mobile apps. So that you can find it here. You can go for create a resource in mobile, you can find mobile app. Okay. So that's another different thing where you send push notification. So by that, we come for the end for the today's topic, which is about the notification apps. Okay, you don't get questions based on notification app solved, but just make sense how the notification app works. Okay, so as a summary, we covered all these topics. We were discussing about storage queue, how to add the data. We were also discussing about the service bus offerings and when to use the service bus, the relay concept, okay, using on-premise, and then the notification apps. So by that, we come to the end for this module. Any questions, folks? Okay, cool. So keep writing me if you have any questions. Okay, you have a week of time in between. You can just post me if you have any questions. Okay, write me to my mail. Little abstract this topic. Which one, Anshul? Which one, Anshul? Notification app? Okay, give me one sec. Give me one sec, please. Yeah. So see, notification hub is where you're going to send push notification services. Okay, you can see Google Chrome. Google Chrome even will send you notification. Like let's say you go for Redbus, you go for Flipkart like that. When you have subscribed, you will get a notification, right? And in mobile, in WhatsApp, you get a notification at the top. When someone writes you a message or something like that, you get a notification, right? So for all those things, we will be using notification apps. So notification app is used to send messages. Okay, it is used to send messages and push notification. So that's where we use notification apps. So here, what we did is we created a notification app, and in the notification app, I was showing you guys about how you can call for different platforms. Okay, it can support for all platforms like Apple. See, Apple comes up with Apple platform notification service. You need to give a certificate or a token. You need to call it. Okay, for Android you have a separate one. For Windows Phone you have a separate one. So it's simple. Like the application that you're going to build, you need to register with the certificate over here. Okay, it might be WhatsApp application or it might be Mintra, whatever it is. So the notification that you receive at the top pane, right, for NDTV or anything. So for that, you need to register here and you can send the messages. That's why we use notification apps. So it's pushing the messages, okay, pushing the localized messages for all end users. Let's say people whomever are having Flipkart, they need to receive a message saying that today is a big billion day, something like that. So it's one stop message that you're going to send a notification for n number of users who are having Flipkart app with them. Are you clear, Anshu? It's basically a middle layer. Yeah, it's not a middle layer, it's a notification layer. It's a platform which can send notifications. It supports for all sort of platforms. Are you clear, Anshu? Okay, cool. Well, so let me know if you guys have any other questions. Okay, let's get it sorted out. And by that, we are done for the day. The next topic which we will be joining by the next week is for automation. We have something called Azure Automation. So we'll be joining for Azure Automation. That's fine, Anshul. It's all my pleasure. Yep, Monisha, any questions? Your email, okay, I'm sending it again, Feroz at CodeSizzler.info. Cool, Monisha. That sounds good. I will send the documents. I will put it on YouTube itself. You can get it from there. Okay. And Imran, are you there? What happened, Imran? Today your visibility is too less today. Any workloads? Works on demand? Okay. Cool. Well, thanks, Mector. We'll reach you by next week then. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you guys can just shoot it to me. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for your timing. We'll see you guys by the next session. Okay. Thank you. Do you have any samples for message context? Or are you asking about service bus or queue, Imran? Event hub, service bus. Yes, I have it for event hub, but for service bus, not respectively. That's like one of a POC I'm doing for Motorola, so I cannot share that. Probably I will try to get some samples and I will share it for you. Okay, I'll check with my office guys. If they have developed something, I will share it with you. Okay. Monisha, there goes my contact number. Oh, that's fine, Imran. Sure, I will look after it and I will keep you written on the same. Okay. Okay. Fine, guys. Thank you so much for joining then once again. See you by next week. Bye bye.